supposed to be a carefree road trip, a chance for my friends and me to escape the city and experience the freedom of the open road. We had no destination in mind, just a general direction west, away from the stress of our everyday lives. But as the sun began to dip below the horizon on the third day of our journey, we stumbled upon something unexpected, a ghost town. We were driving along a narrow, dusty road when we saw it in the distance, a cluster of dilapidated buildings silhouetted against the fading light. Curiosity piqued. We decided to take a closer look. We turned off the main road and followed a gravel path leading into the heart of the town. The place was eerily quiet. No birds chirping, no rustling leaves, just an oppressive silence. The buildings were in various states of decay, their windows shattered, doors hanging off hinges. A sign at the entrance, barely legible, read, "Welcome to Hawthorne." "This place is creepy," Megan said, her voice a whisper as we parked the car and stepped out. "Why are we even here?" "Just for a quick look," I replied, trying to mask my own unease. It's not every day you come across a ghost town. Our group of 6, Megan, Jake, Lisa, Sam, Ben, and I, slowly ventured deeper into the town. The setting sun cast long shadows and the air grew colder. We split up to explore, agreeing to meet back at the car in an hour. I wandered into what looked like an old general store. Dust covered every surface, and the shelves were lined with rusted cans and faded labels. As I examined a cracked mirror on the counter, a movement in the reflection caught my eye. I spun around, but the store was empty. Heart pounding, I hurried back outside. I found Jake and Lisa standing near an old well, peering down into its depths. "Anything interesting?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "Just a bunch of old junk," Jake said, kicking a piece of rubble. "We should head back soon," Lisa added, glancing nervously at the darkening sky. "This place gives me the creeps." We gathered the rest of the group and decided to explore one last building before leaving, a large 2-story house at the end of the main street. It looked slightly better preserved than the others, almost as if someone had taken care of it. As we approached, the front door creaked open on its own. "That's not ominous at all," Sam muttered. We stepped inside, our flashlights illuminating dusty furniture and peeling wallpaper. The air was thick with the scent of decay. We split up again, each of us drawn to different parts of the house. I wandered into the living room, where an old piano sat against the wall. Its keys were yellowed with age, and I couldn't resist pressing one. A discordant note echoed through the room, sending a shiver down my spine. Suddenly, I heard Megan scream from upstairs. We all rushed to find her standing in a bedroom, her face pale. "What happened?" I asked, my heart racing. "There was someone in the mirror," she whispered, pointing to a dusty, full-length mirror in the corner of the room. "I saw a woman, just standing there, staring at me." We gathered around the mirror, but saw nothing unusual. "Maybe it was just a trick of the light," Ben suggested, though he didn't sound convinced. "Let's get out of here," Lisa said, her voice trembling. "I don't like this place." We hurried downstairs, but as we reached the front door, it slammed shut. Jake tried to open it, but it wouldn't budge. Panic set in as we realized we were trapped. "Check the back door," I said, trying to keep calm. We ran to the kitchen, but the back door was also sealed shut. The windows, too, were unyielding. A cold wind blew through the house, though there were no open windows. Whispers filled the air, unintelligible but growing louder. "We need to stick together," I said. "Maybe there's another way out." We moved as a group, searching every room for an escape. In the basement, we found a small window, but it was too high and too narrow to crawl through. As we turned to leave, we saw shadows moving at the top of the stairs. "They're here," Megan whispered, her voice shaking. We backed into a corner as the shadows took form, figures dressed in old-fashioned clothing, their faces pale and eyes hollow. They stared at us, unblinking, and began to advance. "Run!" Sam shouted. We bolted up the stairs, but the ghosts followed, their movements unnaturally fast. We made it to the living room, but there was nowhere to go. The spirits surrounded us, their cold presence suffocating. "Why are you here?" I yelled, desperate for answers. One of the ghosts, a woman in a tattered dress, stepped forward. "You shouldn't have come," she said, her voice echoing as if from a great distance. "This town is cursed. Now you belong to it." "What do you mean?" Lisa cried. "We just want to leave." The woman shook her head. "There is no leaving. We are bound to this place, and now so are you." The room grew darker, the air colder. I felt a pull, as if the very essence of the town was drawing me in. "We have to fight it," Jake said, grabbing my arm. "We can't let it take us." We huddled together, trying to resist the pull. The whispers grew louder, and the ghosts closed in. Just when it felt like we were about to be consumed, I remembered the legend of Hawthorne I had read in an old book. "The well!" I shouted. "We need to break the curse at the well!" We ran outside, the ghosts hot on our heels. We reached the well and saw something glinting at the bottom. "There's something down there," Ben said. "We need to get it." Sam found an old rope nearby, and we used it to lower Jake into the well. He reached the bottom and retrieved an old rusted key. As he climbed back up, the ghosts surrounded us. "Hurry!" I urged. "We need to use the key!" We ran to the church at the center of town, where we found a locked chest in the basement. Jake used the key to open it, revealing a diary and a locket. The diary belonged to the woman in the tattered dress, who had been wrongfully accused of witchcraft and killed by the townspeople. Her spirit, and those of others who had suffered, were bound to Hawthorne by a curse. "We need to set them free," I said. We gathered in the church and recited the final passage from the diary. As we did, the spirits appeared, their faces no longer menacing but filled with relief. "Thank you," the woman said, her form beginning to fade. "You freed us." The ghosts disappeared, and the oppressive atmosphere lifted. The front door of the house creaked open, and we knew we were free to leave. We walked back to the car in silence, the weight of our experience heavy on our minds. As we drove away from Hawthorne, I glanced back and saw the town slowly fading into the distance, finally at peace. The road trip that was meant to be an adventure had turned into a nightmare, but we had survived. We had escaped the ghost town, but the memory of it would haunt us forever.